The beach house stood sentinel against the crashing waves, a weathered cedarwood exterior bleached by sun and salt. Inside, Eleanor unpacked, the scent of sunscreen and anticipation heavy in the air. This annual trip was their tradition, hers and Lily's, a mother and daughter escaping the city for a week of sand, secrets and shared laughter. Her husband David would spend most of his time catching up on work, while his wife and stepdaughter bonded. This year, however, Eleanor carried more than just beach towels and sunscreen in her worn canvas bag. She held a secret, a vial filled with a shimmering blue liquid promising impossible youth. Lily, all coltish limbs and restless energy, was 8, going on 26. She roamed the house, exploring its nooks and crannies. A familiar thrill ran through Eleanor. This year she wouldn't just watch her daughter bloom, she would rediscover her own youth. A stolen pleasure purchased through a shady deal, through a friend of a friend, the antidote in her purse. The first dose was tasteless, almost ceremonial. Eleanor swallowed, the blue liquid cool against her throat. She held her breath, waiting for a sign, a flutter, anything. Nothing came. Disappointment pricked at her, sharp and quick. Lily, oblivious, had wandered back, her arms laden with shells, each one a whispered secret from the sea. That night, as the moon painted silver streaks on the water, Eleanor confessed her secret to Lily, her voice barely a whisper above the rhythmic crash of waves. Morning brought with it the unsettling warmth of transformation. Eleanor woke with a start, her reflection in the dusty window pane a stranger. Her skin, usually etched with fine lines, was smooth, almost translucent. Panic tightened its grip. Reaching for Lily, she found only empty sheets, cold and undisturbed. Terror, raw and primal, seized her. What had she done? Lily, she discovered, had undergone a transformation of her own. She sat on the porch swing, her youthful features sharpened, her eyes holding a wisdom that belied her age. Lily taken the antidote, and she was showing signs of aging into a young teen. Her mind was getting sharper and smarter with each passing hour. The drug was working, twisting their realities like taffy, stretching time and perception. Days took on a surreal quality. Eleanor, her body growing younger, felt the familiar stirrings of a long, dormant energy. She ran barefoot on the beach to chase the retreating waves, her laughter echoing on the wind. Yet the weight of her adult mind, her memories, clung to her like a shroud. Lily, now the responsible one, watched with a mixture of fascination and fear. Her mother's youthful exuberance was infectious, but it was also a constant, painful reminder of the life they were both losing. She found herself drawn to her stepfather, David, seeking solace in his quiet strength, his unwavering gaze. He was a lighthouse in the storm of their changing reality. Eleanor watched her reflection in the mirror, her shrinking frame clad in Lily's cast-off clothes. Trapped within this youthful shell, her mind made its silent protests. She tried to explain to David, to Lily, the terrifying reality of her situation, but the words wouldn't come. They tumbled out jumbled, nonsensical. A child's concerns, frustration morphed into a cold, hard anger. It wasn't fair. She had so much life left to live, so much to share with Lily. Now she was trapped, a prisoner in her own body, watching her life slip away like sand through her fingers. Lily, her features now matured, her eyes filled with a weary understanding, tried to comfort her. But her touch, once a source of solace, now felt foreign, a reminder of the chasm that stretched between them. Their roles had reversed, the daughter now the caretaker, the mother the dependent. The weight of responsibility pressed down on Lily, heavy and suffocating. She found herself confiding in David, her stepfather, his calm presence a balm to her frayed nerves. He listened patiently, his hand resting reassuringly on hers. In his presence, she found a safe harbor in the storm. Lily watched her mother, now a gangly preteen, chasing sandpipers across the beach, her borrowed clothing getting baggy now. A bittersweet ache bloomed in her chest. Eleanor's laughter was carefree, unburdened by the complexities of adulthood, yet it was the laughter of a stranger inhabiting a familiar form. She was no longer equipped to handle the emotional weight of her mother's transformation. Each day she felt herself pulled further from the shore of her own childhood, the current of responsibility dragging her toward adulthood. David became her confidant, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the emotional maelstrom within her. He understood, without judgment, the impossible situation they faced. He offered comfort, not in words, but in shared silences and stolen glances that spoke volumes. One night, as the moon cast its silvery net upon the waves, Lily confessed her growing feelings for him. It felt both wrong and inevitable, a betrayal of her mother and a natural progression of their strange new reality. David, his eyes filled with a love that both terrified and reassured her, confessed his own feelings, dormant for years, now awakened by the woman she was becoming. Eleanor, her world now shrunk to the size of the beach house and the endless stretch of sand, giggled as David swung her high above the waves. She had no memory of the woman she once was, the life she had lived. Her past was a faded tapestry, its threads unraveling with each passing day. She was content in her childlike state, her needs simple, her joys uncomplicated. The world, once a canvas for her ambitions, was now a playground of sensory delights. Lily watched from the porch, a bittersweet ache twisting in her heart. She was losing her mother, but in her place she was gaining a love she never dared to imagine. The guilt was a constant shadow, but David's love was a beacon, guiding her through the darkness. They stole moments, their love of forbidden fruit, bittersweet and intoxicating. They knew their time was limited, that their happiness was built on a foundation of loss and impossible circumstances. The days grew shorter, the air turning crisp with the promise of autumn. Eleanor, now a naked toddler, toddled on unsteady legs, her laughter like wind chimes on the breeze. She was a stranger in her own life, her memories fading with each passing sunset. Lily and David walked hand in hand along the shore, their footsteps erased by the relentless tide as Eleanor walked ahead of them. Their love was a fragile thing, a delicate flower blooming in the shadow of loss. They knew their secret couldn't stay buried forever, that soon the world would demand answers, explanations, but for now they clung to each other, seeking solace in shared glances and stolen kisses. They were living on borrowed time, their happiness a fragile bubble threatening to burst at any moment. One evening, as the sky blazed with the fiery hues of the setting sun, Lily found her voice. "We can't keep doing this, David," she whispered, her voice raw with unspoken emotions. "It's not fair to her, to us." The decision once made hung heavy in the air. They would tell Eleanor. Hope for forgiveness. It was a long shot, but it was all they had. The beach house was no longer a sanctuary, but a gilded cage. Eleanor, oblivious to their turmoil, continued to exist in her innocent world of make-believe and wonder. Her laughter, once a source of joy, now echoed with the poignant reminder. The next morning they found an infant, Eleanor, asleep in her bed. Lily thought her mother would be scared upon waking up as a helpless infant instead smiled at the sight of her. Eleanor's mind had been wiped clean. She was a truly an innocent babe once more. Lily knew that their lives would never be the same. The beach house, once a symbol of family and tradition, was now a monument to their impossible love. The morning sky was white with so many clouds above, a stark contrast to the vibrant blue of the ocean. Eleanor, now a gurgling infant, lay cradled in Lily's arms, her tiny hand gripping Lily's finger with surprising strength. Lily debated on giving her mother the rest of the antidote she hadn't taken, but decided not to. The drug, an experimental concoction, had worked too well. Eleanor's regression was complete. There was no trace of the woman she once was, only the innocent gaze of a child on the cusp of life. Lily felt sense of joy and motherhood blooming in her chest. It was a tear of happiness, of acceptance, of a love that transcended the boundaries of time and biology. She was saying goodbye to her mother, but she was also embracing a new beginning. David stood beside her, a pillar of strength in a sea of uncertainty. His hand rested on her shoulder, a silent promise of unwavering support. He understood her, shared her burden. They were in this together, bound by a love forged in that moment. Life, as it always does, went on. The beach house remained shuttered, a silent testament to the life-altering summer they had shared. Eleanor, her laughter ringing out, filled their days with a joy that was both pure and heartbreaking. Lily and David, their love tested and strengthened by adversity, built a life together. They were a family, bound not by blood, but by the invisible threads of love, loss, and acceptance. They carried the weight of their secret, a bittersweet reminder of the summer that changed everything. Sometimes, late at night, when the house was quiet and the world slept, Lily would imagine her mother, young and carefree, running barefoot on the beach. Her laughter carried on the wind, and in those moments she found a measure of peace, a sense of closure. She had lost her mother, but she had gained a family, a love that defied definition, and she knew, with a certainty that went beyond logic, that somewhere deep inside her mother was happy.